Ah, hello. So we're here for another video about Horror in the Library VR game development. Except this time you're not going to have me. You're going to have Jade, who has done a lovely piece of music that goes in the menu and is in the first demo game. So she's done a video to explain how she put the music together and some really cool tricks and techniques in a piece of software called Logic Pro. So over to Jade and hope you enjoy. Cheerio.
Hello and welcome to the behind the scenes of how I made the Horror in the Library theme. Now we are going to have a look at the Logic project that I used to create my theme. So here we go. We have all the MIDI instruments set up. So let's open up, say, the strings here. I'm going to press E to open up the editor. If you switch it to score, it will show you the actual score. Anywho, so we have the piano roll or piano editor here, and we have MIDI notes across the piano roll. Make sure that everything's in time, because otherwise it's just going to be out of time. And you can click on any of these and it will show you what pitch it is. And also you can see that there's different colours. Basically what this means is that there's a velocity bar here, and with this you can select a note. So if I create a note by pressing the command key, and I can select it on the piano roll, you can see I've created a note. And what I can do with that note is that I can adjust its velocity by using the slider. The red's like the highest, the most hardest note you could possibly make. Logic will detect that as being the highest value, the hardest note. And then if you slide it all the way down, you can see the numbers change, and the lowest of that velocity is 1. And that means it's the most quietest note that you can play. Sometimes it will come up with a pop-up to say, do you want to delete this track? And if you do, then you just cancel it. But if you don't, then you press delete and it will get rid of the whole lot. And if you do that, then you can press Command Z on your keyboard to revert it. So basically what I did is just delete the whole lot by mistake. So what you can do is just press the backspace to delete whatever note you created. I'm going to demonstrate how you would record something. So if I want to record, then go up to here. I'm going to press record. It will have a count in, and if you watch the piano roll, it will start scrolling, and you will also see the keys light up. So here we go. So there we go. And you can see it's in red. When it's in red, you know you're recording, and when you stop recording, you can either press the stop record button, or you can just simply press R on your keyboard and that will just stop the recording. What you can also do is highlight a note or multiple notes by clicking and dragging. Sometimes you can select multiple notes by holding the shift key, and then you just click like so. It's offset by a little bit, but it certainly does the job. You've also got another set of violins which are stacked, and basically what that means is that you've got 2 sets of octaves, a lower octave and a higher octave, creating a more dynamic effect. You want this theme to sound big. It's that kind of theme that makes you think, ooh, yeah, that sounds good. Yeah, it gives a bit of an eerie vibe to it. This tab up here, that will show you your metronome, whether it counts in 1, 2, 3, 4 when you press record. You've got your beats per minute, and it's in a key signature 4/4. It says C major, but I played it in a key of F. the piano roll here will tell you what notes you've got. And then this will tell you your beats. And then there's also a setting here where you can change whether you view the beats and the project, or the beats and the project large, beats in time. Then if we just scroll down, then we can see the organ here, you can see the piano roll here. Nothing's been set at the moment, I think it's set to 164. And I will go over to the keyboard, which is over here. Lovely keyboard, and you can input notes, and you can see the little bar, the green bar here is showing that there's a signal coming through, and you can see that the record button here is blinking. That means that you are ready to record, or that this instrument is live to record. So you can hear that the instrument is playing a sound. The header here, which scrolls across the screen, that's what reads the MIDI information. And if you watch the piano roll, it will start scrolling, and you will also see the keys light up. So here we go. So there we go. And you can see it's in red. When it's in red, you know you're recording, and when you stop recording, you can either press the stop record button, or you can just simply press R on your keyboard, and that will just stop recording. And if we just scroll across, you can now see all your notes. Press quantize, which is this little Q button here. So if I press quantize, it should snap. It's not snapping. So why is it not snapping? Sometimes this doesn't work. It's because it's got swing on it. Oops. Let's scroll that back. And let's press quantize again. Doesn't seem to be quantizing for some strange reason. Okay, well, if that does happen and things like that don't work, because sometimes the program is a bit of a fidgety one, then you just drag it. And if you want it from the start, then you can put it there. So you can see it's a minor chord. Exactly how I played it. So if you want to solo it, you can just turn that off like that. Okay, so you have your chord here. So let's make it minor, because we want to make it dark. So, and as you can hear, I'm playing the set of notes that I played. And then if I want to change it, I can just take my finger here and just move it down, which makes it minor. You can see you've got this solo button up here. You push that and we have two of the same. Select that track. We can then press Command C, and then take the header back, select the instrument again, paste, and then you can drag it on the timeline like so, and that will snap directly to your piano roll. Select this note here, then get out the editor, and then make sure this is lined up, because it will be out of time. So let's just drag that in, move this in, then if I highlight it, and if I press quantize now, it should do it. There we go. It's done it this time. And you can see the notes were out, and you can see this Q button. I just pushed it and the notes are snapped to the grid on the piano roll. Like I said, it doesn't always work, but it's handy. And you can see this line here is where the grid is. So we can select these notes, drag it, and then you can make sure all your notes are perfectly aligned so that when you play it back from the beginning, it should sound like this. Of course, you can hear it's not in time, but you can easily adjust that. So you can see that you have these numbers up there that tells you what bar you're on. You can adjust to see where your MIDI notes need to be placed. These notes are in the right place, but these notes are in the wrong place. So what you can do is play it back. So as you can hear, it needs to be here, not there. So having a click means that you can easily adjust where your notes need to be, and it just makes everything much more tidy. So we can just move it here. Go into the editor, make sure it's lined up. Or if you want to, then you can just zoom in. You can drag this across. Double check in the editor. Sometimes you have to move the header out of the way. Highlight your notes. And bam. And you can also, to be able to get a clear view, you can extend this as well. So you can hear that it's in time, but the notes are just a bit short. If that happens, you just want to extend it so that it matches up with the other one. Put it here. Now it should all fit. There we go. And now we're going to play it back. You aren't always going to be on the beat, so that's why you want to quantize. Using the quantize can be good. And you just got to make tweaks here and there. Only do the best you can, you know, no one's perfect. So I duplicate this track. It's in time. But what I can also do is come over to the keyboard here, and I can play the exact same thing. But I'm going to record it to show you how you can be in time, because being in time is more or less essential, but you know, you either got it or you don't. There are times where I'm trying to record something and I'm just a little bit off, but with the quantize that will help. So if I want to record now, I will press R. Don't know what it did there, but it seemed to have recorded over the other track. That's definitely not what you want, because even though I've got the instrument selected, it's still recorded over that track, which is interesting. Really interesting. For some reason Logic likes to do some weird stuff. So let's give that a go again. It's at the beginning. Let's go. And also what you don't want to do is have multiple tracks at the same time whilst you're recording. That's another thing that you're going to get into, and that can really hinder on your recording. You always want to make sure that you have the mute button selected, so that when you press record, you know you're you're not going to interrupt those tracks. So let's go again. For some reason the 1, 2, 3, 4 isn't working, but there we go. So I press record on that. It should work. So there we go. There's our red line and it's done it. So you can see that you can either do it copy and paste, which can help, or you can do it the old-fashioned way and just record it and hope for the best. You will find that you will record and record and record, because things like timing is very tricky. It's not easy to make things completely solid, because even me as a drummer, you know, I'm not a metronome. I'm not going to be 100%. So you can see, just need to drag that across like so, and extend these. Now it's so, just drag that across like so. What I did here is exactly the same as this, but it's just recorded in one piece. There's different ways of doing it. There's no right or wrong. You can either do it this way or do it that way. So that's one way of being able to record. And now I'm going to show you the plugins that you use. Let's get to plugins. So we have a sampler here, and this just shows you your instrument, and you have different modules here. You've got synths, which is the sample. You've got pitch, filters, amps. So you can really do some cool stuff. You can adjust the envelope, how soft or how hard or how long, how short. You've got mapping here, so you can actually have a sample. So you can see the sample is here. You can load presets. There's a bunch of different presets here. If I press a key, then you can see it shows you what sample is being played, which is really neat. And you can create your own samples. It doesn't have to be presets. Yeah, any kind of MIDI instrument will work. And you can load your sounds by pressing load. You can save your sounds. So that's the sampler. You have a channel EQ. EQing is great for changing the sound of your instrument. This is a frequency graph, because with music we register sound with frequency. With the mouse wheel here, you move this little dot, you can see the waveforms getting larger. You can see it's filtering, it's going up, it's going into the highs. That's as high as it will go. And you've got these different sound waves here. So if I move it across, you can see that it changes. Oh, see, we're going into the mids here. Now we're going into the lows. And it should work with the highs as well. So you can make some pretty weird sounds with this. See? So that's cool. And we can do the same when the lows. You can really hear that thud from the sampling. This is great, and it's also good for changing the sound, because if you want something dark, you can adjust this. Can make it sound like a speaker. And it's not just one, you can use multiple. So if you want it to sound really creepy, then you can really lower it. So that sounds cool. And you can just really change the sound being manipulated here. If you don't want to use it, just turn it off from here, or just press the little button here to turn it on and turn it off. Okay. So you can use the preset sounds on here in this strip, and you've got your volume knob here. You can see here the piano and the strings, they're not the same volume because you want to balance out the sounds, because you want to blend it. That's what all these sounds are, they're blended in. That's what you want. And it just helps you to build your track. So if I turn these off, or turn them down, so by adding more reverb, you're basically giving it more room, and it gets across that mood. It really does, and it definitely helps. If you add too much reverb, it just drowns it out. So if I whack it up, oh, so you just want it in the sweet spot. You want it about not too much, but it just adds to your track. And basically all the reverb does is just replicate the real life ambience of a church. If you want to adjust your reverb to however, so you can do it this way using these preset knobs. There is another way. So if I go back to here, so if you want to add a plugin, you go to here. It will say no plugin because you haven't selected anything. Go to reverb, which is down here. You've got different types of reverb. They pretty much do the same thing. They're slightly different, but you want to do space design. When I was introduced to this one, it blew my mind, the stuff you can do with this. Also, make sure that these are turned off. Some of them come with plugins already, the preset instruments, but you can manually add your effects. It's not be all and end all. You can do what you want. So now if I play it, you know, there's nothing. It's just the raw sample. But if we drag it up again, you can see the reverb is coming on, and then I can change the length. I can change the size. I think because of OBS, it doesn't really. It's lagging a little bit. But you can also adjust it from here. Put it all the way. So you've got kind of a little bit like a delay. You can use the preset or you can change it, whatever. It doesn't matter. You don't always have to use a preset. You can, the default, you can change it to whatever you want. But if we drag it out, you can see it affects the. You can change the spread. Ooh. Yeah, so you can really muck around with that. So that's how the Space Designer works. Make sure that is up. So yeah, you can have fun twiddling around with this setting. There we go, there's our reverb. So what I also wanted to show you is how you can manually input MIDI data into the piano roll. And you can see all of this was manually inputted, and then you just copy and paste all of this. Because of the quantize only goes up to 164, it won't quantize it to the nearest subdivision. That's what this is. This is all a subdivision. It's not on the line, but it's like all the in-between. And sometimes with things like doing music for games, is that you'll get some sounds that will need to go on for a large period of time, and some that will get triggered by, entering a room. And for instance, a menu screen, which is what this is made for. A piece of music that will get you engaged and you want to play the game. Think, oh, what does this involve? That's what this theme tries to convey. Here is the final theme that was used in the game.